Hey, good morning, Pete, North Las Vegas. I had some parts come in, so we're going to continue this rifle build on the AR308 using New Frontier Armory upper and lower receivers. So far, everything I have put together has gone pretty well. This is the barrel I decided on, and there was a pretty good Black Friday deal. And I figure if it's got the name Combat in it, it's got to be good stuff, right? Okay, so the primary reason I chose Wilson Combat this time around was in their description for this 308 barrel, they also went out of their way to let me know that it will chamber 7.62 by 51 NATO also. And that was like right in the beginning of their title when you looked this barrel up online. And as far as the bolt carrier group, you had to go down in their specifications, but it also said 308/762 by 51. So I called Wilson Combat this morning and I said, hey, do you guys do anything different with your chambering on your 308 barrels to make sure that, you know, it's truly interchangeable with 7.62 NATO? And basically what I got out of the technician was they run their 308 chamber dimensions a little bit on the looser side, which makes sense for the 7.62. I'm not going to get into the weeds on a difference between 308 and 7.62 NATO. 308 brass is generally thinner, has a little bit more powder in it, and operates generally at slightly higher pressure than a 7.62 NATO. But the NATO, because it's a military round, was chambered much looser. That's, you know, to take care of and handle adverse conditions. Now, 7.62 is generally interchangeable with a 308 chamber, but 308 is not always necessarily interchangeable with a 7.62 chambering because of the looser tolerances. You can run into a little bit of trouble. But now what I've done is I've crunched a bunch of numbers between what Forrester thinks and what Clymer thinks, what Sammy thinks, and down here at the bottom, what I think. And I have a go, no-go field set of Forresters and a bunch of in-between sizes to check headspace. So ideally, what I'm going to try to do is find headspace on this new Wilson barrel for nominal between both companies and what Sammy says. If I can get a go on a 6.33 to about a 6.35, plus or minus maybe 1 or 2 thousandths on either end of this, then that's good enough for me to say, yeah, it'll shoot 308 and 7.62 without any issues. But anyway, that's what we're going to find out this morning. Okay, so we'll start off with packaging. I just want to say that Wilson did a very good job. They have these vinyl or end caps on the barrel, and they also put it on the tubing that it came in. So, and then it came in a box. It was very well wrapped in a box with a lot of paper and cardboard. So good job on the packaging, Wilson. All right, so I'm going to get the chamber cleaned up on this thing. We'll take a closer look at the barrel itself, and then we'll do some head spacing. And then I'm probably going to do a bore scope, and we'll check out the chamber and the rifling. Okay, so just a quick look at the barrel externally. I just sprayed some brake cleaner on it, so you'll see a little bit of staining, but that's not how it came. This barrel is machined externally just like flawlessly. I bought the Hunter Tactical Series barrel, which the journal is 0.750, and it comes in right at 0.750. And you can see it has the dimple. Kind of a different twist rate. I'm used to seeing like 1 in 10, 1 in 12. Not quite sure what the 1 in 11.25 is about, but I got to think Wilson knows what he's doing. Muzzle end, the threads are a relief cut on the back. A lot of manufacturers will run the threads without the relief cut and run the threads right up against the barrel face, but this has a relief cut, so that's a nice touch. Very good crown. All right, well, let's get on with the head spacing. Okay, so this is my third Wilson Combat bolt carrier group. My first one in 308, but this thing is immaculate. There's not a scratch, a ding, or an imperfection on it anyway. The coating is beautiful. He uses a captured pin instead of the cotter key, so you can get your BCG apart without having to pull this pin all the way completely out. That's a nice touch. He's running 2 O-rings on the extractor in addition to the little buffer inside. And then he gives you an extra O-ring. I looked over the actual bolt itself. It's really nicely done. Okay, so we're going to start out with a 1.633, which will be kind of minimum on the low end for what I'm trying to do. Okay, so if I was just looking at strictly a 308 chamber, 1.630 would be your minimum go. But like I said, I'm trying to find out where Wilson machined this chamber. Like I said earlier in the video, when I called them, they said they went on the looser side of specs. So let's find out. Okay, so I think I said earlier in the clip, it's kind of hard to show me actually head spacing and hold the camera at the same time. But we're going to go to the other end of the spectrum here, 1.635, and see if the headspace is there. If it headspace is at 1.6350, then I'm going to keep going up to see where we do land as far as where we're at on the head spacing. Okay, so it would not chamber on a 635. So the next one down on my kit is 634, which is normally considered a no-go. But like I said, because we're splitting hairs here between 762 and 308, that's not necessarily a no-go for what I'm trying to check out here. Anyway, I hope I'm not getting anybody confused. Okay, so I was able to get the bolt into full battery with a 1.634. So for what I'm trying to do here, and you know, just make myself okay with the 308 versus 762, that's, for me, that's perfect. And like I said, if you're going strictly on 308 chamber dimensions, then Forster considers this a no-go. But if you're going to be doing 762 and 308, you're not going to have exactly the same chamber dimensions. The 762 has to be a little bit looser. So we'll pan over the numbers again between what Clymer thinks and what Forster thinks. So I came in right at the middle of where I wanted. Okay, kind of repeating myself in a different way, but fantastic job, Wilson Combat. You split hairs perfectly on this chamber and the bolt that you supplied me. So very, very confident. 308 versus 762, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to run the bolt carrier in and out of the receiver and into the barrel. This is a Midwest Industries barrel nut that goes with their combat rail. And we're going to see how the rail fits with the barrel nut receiver and the barrel. I've seen some videos where people say that when they put this handguard on, there's a slight shift in the horizontal plane between the receiver rail and the rifle rail, meaning it either tilts up or tilts down. And I kind of have a theory about why that might be happening. And I think that this groove relationship in relation to rail height and rail fitment, maybe this barrel nut needed to go a little bit further in, or the barrel nut needed to come a little bit further out. And this is what they give you on the on your handguard. So if this is off a little bit and you start tightening things up, I think I could see where maybe that handguard does get pulled one way or the other, up and down or to the side. So I'm just going to do a quick fit here and see where we're at. If it's too far off, as in too far this way, then that's an easy fix. Just shim the barrel. But if it's off the other way a little bit, then we'll have to come up with a different game plan. But anyway, this is just kind of a test fit on the handguard, and then we'll see how well the bolt slides in and out of the receiver into the barrel. Then we're going to do a bore scope of the barrel. Okay, with the barrel installed, the barrel nut really nice and snug by hand, with the locating tab installed, I have no issues. This thing is like a perfect fit. Focus. So no issues whatsoever. Like I said, I just kind of have things snugged up. I don't have everything completely tightened, but there's no issues. Put a straight edge up here. Everything's lined up. So the people that were having problems or claiming they were having problems with this handguard, I don't know what was going on with their rifles, but this one here works out perfect. Okay, so bolt carrier fitment. This thing slides in and out like butter. Once again, it's a New Frontier Armory upper receiver. Very nice. Locks up and unlocks very nice. So no issues between the Wilson Combat bolt carrier group, receiver, and barrel extension. Okay, so we're going to do a quick bore scope. We'll just show the lands, a little bit of the rifling and the gas port, and then that'll be it for today. And when we get that part done, I'll explain what's left on this upper. Okay, well, I'm going to have to end the video here today. I was going to bore scope it, but I ended up having an issue with the forward assist. The little pawl is getting hung up right here on the edge of the bolt carrier. And it looks like there's enough of a transition on the bolt carrier, so I don't know. I had this out in and out like 4 or 5 times, and everything worked fine. And then all of a sudden, the bolt carrier started getting hung up on this. So I don't know what changed or what happened. But I may replace this, or I may get my files out, my Dremel, and maybe modify this. I don't know. I'm going to go around town and see if I can find another one of these and see if this geometry is just off on this. This came out of the New Frontier Armory kit that I got. It kind of seems like this might be hanging up a little bit. As I put tension on it, there's a little kink in it. So that plunger and spring back here, it hangs up right there. And then I think that's just enough not to allow it to transition. So I think I may end up knocking this pin out and try to figure out what's going on with the rest of this. But it kind of gets hung up right there. And then you got to push hard to get it up. I think that should be a smooth transition. All right, anyway, it's always something. Pete, North Las Vegas, over and out. Okay, so bonus clip. I put everything back together, and you can see it kind of gets hung up on that forward assist pole. You can see that the forward assist pole is working, and it's just barely getting hung up. Well, what I noticed was if I just put that much tension on it, it'll come right out. I'm trying to do this one-handed. Okay, so I just barely touch this and it'll come out. So it's just barely hanging up right here. So I'm just going to take a file and smooth the very edge of that pawl, maybe reprofile a little bit. And then, like I said, later on today, I'm going to go out and find a new one of these. And maybe the geometry's off on this a little bit. All right, well, that's it. Over and out. Okay, so I took a file to the end of the pawl, the part that engages with the serrations here. And I got the bolt to where it goes in and out just fine. It doesn't get hung up anymore. But you can hear a slight click as the pawl hits the back end of the bolt carrier group right here. And I don't know how well the camera's going to pick it up. Let me see if I can get a macro here. You can see maybe on the bolt carrier, that little rubbing mark, that's from the pawl. So it's still touching the bolt. So this is still off a little bit, but at least we got it to where it doesn't jam up anymore. So I'm gonna hop in the truck and go see if I can find another one of these. I got a feeling this is what's off. All right, positively, absolutely. Pete, North Las Vegas, over and out.